Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Ask, Learn, Grow, the show where the Reef team answer questions and share updates and insights from the digital marketing industry. I've got our resident data wizard, Mike Attard, with us today, and we're going to be talking about when your sales or CRM data doesn't match up with your Google Analytics data. So, Mick, how would you identify, first of all, if gaps do exist in your Google Analytics data?
So the easiest way to identify if there are gaps is just to look at a period of time and look at the total sales reported by Google Analytics versus the total sales reported by your CRM. And this can also apply to things like newsletter signups or anything where you'd be creating some sort of data within your backend system, making sure that that's going to match up with what you're seeing in Google Analytics. So the easiest way to do it would just be to take last month's data as a total from the CRM and compare that to what Google Analytics listed as goal completions for last month total, and just making sure that they match up.
Okay, cool. And if you do notice a discrepancy in your data, what should you do?
So if you do notice a discrepancy, there will occasionally be one or two sales which will kind of slip through the cracks just based off, the user might have, ad block software or might have some script blocking on their browser, which would stop it. But if you do see like a large amount of difference there, what you would do is you would export data from your CRM, and you want to go as granular as possible. You want to include the date, the timestamp, and any relevant fields or categorizations of sales. If you're using multiple sales systems, you want to export from everything. For instance, if you're using Afterpay, Stripe, PayPal, whatever you're using for that, you want to make sure that you have the full suite of all your data exported into a CSV file or into an Excel file, as it were. And then you'd also want to go into Google Analytics, and you would want to create a custom report where you're using date and hour as your dimensions, and export that as well for the same time period. And then you'd use Excel to kind of compare the two data sets together at both a daily level, and then if you identify specific days where there is a great discrepancy there, you'd want to then drill down to an hourly level for those days.
Okay, and what about identifying sort of commonalities in missing data?
Yeah, so that's really going to be what's going to kind of unlock where the issue lies with it. So you'll be looking at, say if you're looking at 15th of July, for instance, and GA is reporting 10 sales and your CRM is reporting 15, you would then want to go in and say, okay, well, add an hourly breakdown. We've noticed that the sale that took place at 3 p.m. didn't get reported in Google Analytics. So you'd go and you'd identify what that sale is, and say that sale uses the Stripe payment system. You would then go through and see, is Stripe being reported consistently elsewhere? If it is just a one-off, then that might just be something to do with the user's browser. But if you do start seeing trends where, okay, every single instance of this type of conversion isn't being recorded properly, then you'd have to kind of do a bit more digging and identify, okay, well, maybe this needs to now be connected to Google Analytics in a different way, or maybe there needs to be some more sort of back-end dev work to make sure that all the systems are talking to each other.
Great stuff. Any kind of closing final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Yeah, sure. So Google Analytics should really be one of your main sources of truth when it comes to reporting, just because it's supposed to take into account everything that's happening on your website. It gives really good insights in terms of traffic sources, in terms of user insights. But if you're not really, using it to its full capability, and you're not seeing all of the conversions actually being reported, you could have certain traffic sources or certain campaigns which are being sort of underutilized, or which aren't getting the credit that they deserve, and therefore you may not be investing as much as you should in. So making sure that your Google Analytics is really representative of what's happening on your site and what's happening with your business, it should be of utmost importance.
Fantastic. Thanks very much for sharing that, Mick. That kind of wraps up today's call. So if you've got any questions about the mismatch of data in your systems that you'd like some help with, please feel free to let us know, and we're always happy to help. If you'd like to put a question or a problem to the team to answer in a future video, send those in too, and we'll see what we can do. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be notified when the next video is available. Apart from that, thanks all for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.